Here we go again. However, this time, my controller is not plugged in, apparently. That's weird, because it's definitely actually plugged in. My PS2 is just old, I guess. There we go. Alright. So now, we start a new game. Let's start over the 100% file, because... why not?
Sly, come in. Sly, do you read
Yeah, we've seen this bit already.
I
I will upload that as a separate video on YouTube's as well.
I'm a little nervous. Trying to break
Just
into police headquarters.
just for a matter of continuity, I guess. Because, you know, really, this is a game where well, saying that, the plot actually does kind of matter a little bit.
Got their security system totally scoped. To get inside, you're gonna have to go through that air vent.
All right, I'm going in.
And don't forget you got me at the wheel, Sly. All you gotta do is grab the file and get back to the van. We'll do the rest.
Just keep that engine running, Murray. I'll be down in no time.
Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot that you can actually, like, twiddle the thumbsticks and it will actually, it'll move around the head models in the binoculars.
Hey, Bentley,
Look at that.
I'm seeing things. Must be vertigo or something. Can you see those?
Infinite amusement. I'm sure that that can actually break the game in some way.
Master raccoon thieves are able to sense
Or at the very least, I sure hope it can. Because that would be really funny.
blue auras. According to my research, all you have to do is get near them and hold down the circle button, and you should perform a super sneaky master thief move.
Hold down the circle button near blue auras. I'm on it.
Alright. Along we go. And hey, look. It's basic platforming that I'm going to screw up almost a little bit. Oh, hey, look, it's a coin that I missed. Wow.
Be extra careful here, Sly. Quick, Sly.
And that's what happens when you accidentally go through one of the lasers, because you're bad at aiming this.
Nice job, you're in. Inspector Carmelita Fox's office is behind the red door.
And Murray. They don't say that he's a hippo. I didn't even notice that earlier. Alright. Yeah, see? No lag this time. Nice and simple. Just get through here.
Way to go, Sly. This is where
At
Inspector
9,
Carmelita Fox
3,
scheduled
7, correct? Yep. See, I remember that.
Nice job. You got it. If you come down through the fire escape and
Unfortunately, when Murray is just talking to us, we can't mess with the sticks to change the angle of his headshot. Oh well. Not everything can be great. Grab that, and... yep, get ready for some questionable quality accents and good old-fashioned 2000s voice acting.
Carmelita.
Everybody's favorite. Except for all the things that are not that people enjoy. Or something.
Give it to you as a little token of
Uh,
my
Look, what do you want from me? Oh, coherence? Well,
the color of your eyes.
that's your first mistake, friendo.
Pistol packs a paralyzing punch. You ought to try it. Might snap you out of your
I have some bad news for all of you
That once you're safely behind
on
bars.
that one, because, ooh.
But I just dropped by to pick up this case file. I think you've had it long enough.
Oh. Back to it. Sorry, I just saw this cutscene like 15 minutes ago, so I was like, hey, yeah, let's check my email or something, alright? And don't be so stuck on things, Sly. Well, we just got killed in the in the intro level because we jumped into The energy bullet. Good job, us. Well, hopefully we don't have to sit through the voice acting again. We don't have to... We can skip this part. But also, I do want to point out the fact that she's literally causing more damage to the police stuff than we are. Like, oh no, we're taking a thing that tells us where we can get back at the people who... Oh, wait, I'm spoiling the game a little bit. But, who cares? We probably... This game is pretty old. And by pretty old, I mean it's at least 20 years old, I believe? I think this came out in 2001. It is certainly... If it's not 20 years old, it is damn close. Still looks alright, though, all told. But I like the look of PS2 in general, so I don't think it's that bad. I have completely forgotten where I was going with things, other than, oh yeah, I died in the first level, but thankfully they don't make us have to sit through the voice acting again. But also, as I was saying before, literally Carmelita is causing more damage to any of the police's equipment than we did anything to... Oh no, we stole this file that lets us find out where the dudes that stole all of our shit are. That way we can get back at them, and they're not going to do anything about it, so...
Again, my gang and I had given Inspector Carmelita Fox the slip. I was surprised to see how well she took it. Finally, the secret police file I'd been searching for all these years. With this, I could avenge my family and regain possession of our most valued treasure. It all began when I was just a kid, bouncing on my father's knee. You see, I come from a long line of master thieves who kept all their secrets of sneaking and stealing in an ancient book. The Thievius Raccoonus. Anyone who read it learned to be especially sneaky, which is why we specialize in stealing from criminals. After all, there's no honor, no challenge, no fun stealing from ordinary people. You rip off a master criminal, and you know you're a master thief. Well, on the night I was supposed to inherit the book, 5 visitors came unannounced to our door. My father fought to protect us, but the gang of villains known as the Fiendish Five overpowered him and ransacked our house until they found the Thievius Raccoonus. Our family's manual of thieving greatness fell into their filthy hands. They tore the book into 5 pieces and split it up, each villain disappearing to the farthest corners of the world to commit dastardly crimes. Broken alone, I was dumped at the town orphanage. There I met 2 guys who became my lifelong buddies and trusted crew. Bentley, techno genius and strategist supreme, and Murray, part-time driver and full-time burden. Together we pledged to track down the Fiendish Five, avenge my father, and steal back the Thievius Raccoonus. I knew I was about to face the toughest test of my life. On this mission, I would either become a master thief like my ancestors before me, or fail and allow my family name to bite the dust.
Hooray, we have an autosave feature.
Work back there at police headquarters, Sly. Come see me if you want to check out any of your old movies. I've got them all here on my computer. Use the left analog stick to move around the hideout and the X button to select things. As
Bentley has to teach us how to use a menu. Well, you know, not everything can be great. Welcome to an era where they had to put that into video games. Can't go over this way because Murray is sitting on a stool in front of this map. Thanks a lot. That's really useful. Is there anything else going on? Bentley is just going to let us review old cinematics, I believe. At least at this point, that is the case. Let's duck into our first scenario.
The road trip gave me the time I needed to study up on Sir Raleigh the Frog.
Look at this nasty motherfucker.
As a young man, this hot-tempered frog grew bored of his life of luxury and privilege. On a whim, he tried his hand at a bit of piracy and found it to his liking. Raleigh, who quickly became addicted to crime, was brought into the Fiendish Five as chief machinist, where his evil tinkering genius rose to new heights. The The last reported sighting of this mad machinist was off the soggy coast of the Isle o' Wrath, a small island uncomfortably situated in the middle of the perilous Welsh Triangle.
Oh, I love these title cards. They are so good. The whole look of this game, just in general, is really, really fantastic. Unfortunately, I see that I'm dropping frames, so I don't know how much of that you're going to get to see if you're watching this on Twitch, because apparently my internet service provider has just decided to not be good at this. I don't know. Well, it is what it is. We're back in action here. You remove this keep out sign because we don't care about that. Also, the coin icon changes depending on what part of the world you're in. That's some pretty nice little attention to detail.
Spotted something that's going to complicate the mission. See that nasty-looking gate? It blocks the only road leading into Raleigh's hideout.
No problem. I'll just use my climb move.
Okay, but remember, you can only climb on certain objects, like pipes and ropes.
Yeah, sure, and like that ladder there?
That is correct, but do not forget, Sly. You have to get close.
Then hit the circle button to grab it. Yeah. Relax, Bentley. I live for this stuff.
Yeah, and that's what worries me.
Yeah, thanks a lot, buddy. Another thing that I like is that everybody in this game, in terms of like all the villains, are just absolutely just complete assholes. No need to ever feel bad about anything. It sounds like a strange thing, but it's like, oh hey, you're literally playing as a thief. You're not conditioned to like this character very much, I don't suppose. But on the other hand, here we are with a rich guy who's just bored and decides to start stealing other shit. And so here we're gonna go kick his ass for being garbage. Also, we should pick up these clue bottles because that will help us unlock new abilities and eventually just map data and stuff for whatever region we're in. We're going to try to get all of them in every level, but I make no guarantees. It's been a very long time since I've played this game, and which direction was I going there? That can be a bit of a problem, is that your controls will turn you around very easily on ropes and stuff like that. Like something straightforward, like the ladder, that's not going to be an issue. But on an overhanging rope like that, you probably could see that it was getting a little bit funny. Like, oh hey, you're right in the middle of the rope. We're going to turn you around back and forth over and over. Yes, that's what I need in my life. You have a pretty long reach in terms of where you can start climbing things from, which is nice. Okay, do a little bit of that for you to ease things.
Hold on, Sly. See those searchlights? One careless step and you'll be subjected to acute combustion.
You done whining? Let's go.
I'm just trying to keep you alive, partner. Fortunately for you, I launched these signal repeaters throughout Raleigh's fortress. Get close to one, and I can checkpoint your progress.
Nice.
Oh, there you go. An explanation for checkpoints. I don't think we needed any sort of, like, story reason for it. It's a video game, but hey, why not? Searchlights operate pretty similarly to the lasers. You step in them once, they go off, and once they turn red, they will damage and or kill you. I didn't know that guy through so when I was that close. This game doesn't really give you a lot of leeway, so I shouldn't be terribly surprised. Can you show me how many bottles I have without me pausing the game? No. I have to either grab one or pause the game in order to find that information out. Oh well. So, yeah, try to avoid the searchlights the first time through, obviously. And otherwise, they become hazards that can kill you, because this game needs more of that. This is a pretty difficult game, in my opinion. It's, especially by the standards of a lot of 3D platformers where they were mostly quite easy, with the exception of a couple of areas each. You know, every game had like one Rusty Bucket Bay or something. Except that the controls were fighting you the whole time. This game, the controls are pretty solid for the era. Like, again, 2002 is not exactly what I would call the high end of things, but it usually gets the job done pretty well. It's just that everything else is balanced a little tougher to make up for things. Also, yes, the throwing star throwing dude is indeed a beaver man. That is pretty great. There's a lot of just goofy looking animal people in this entire series, right? Really, but I don't know how much of the series we're going to play past this game, but we will definitely play this game. Also, beware of the flash. At least it's short and not the brightest ever, but it's probably not great for your eyes.
That big blimp is where Raleigh is hiding out.
You know, that blimp looks more like a machine than a hideout.
You're right, Sly. That is a storm machine. It's the reason why it never stops raining around here.
That explains all the wrecked ships.
But why would Raleigh want bad weather at his own hideout 24/7?
Beats me. But rain or shine, I'm gonna steal my family's book back. And if Raleigh gets in my way, it's on.
Well, you see, it's very simple. Bad weather helps prevent anybody from being interested in coming in, especially by air. Or by sea, for that matter. Yeah, they're throwing a good bit of stuff at you in this first level. You can see we've got the rushing current here from the river. After the water... Fuck! Get on the stones. There we go. After the waterfall, and yeah. You gotta always be on the ball for that.
Nice job so far, Sly. To get over the next gate, you'll need to grab onto this hook using your cane. Just jump and hit the circle button.
Got it. Jump and hit the circle button to grab onto hooks.
They're also really helping teach you a bunch of stuff very early on. I mean, they start adding more new mechanics as the game goes on, but they're doing a pretty good job of giving you a good set of stuff to start with here. That way it's not like, oh hey, it's World 3 out of 5 and they're teaching me the basics again. Nope. Nope, by that point they're actually just teaching you the new mechanics and that's it. Ah! I didn't think that would push me off, but clearly it did. Wow. Yeah, and this game can be a little bit unforgiving. Yes, I am ridiculous enough to go back for this one coin. It's true. I probably could have handled that a little differently and it would have made more sense. There we go.
That large vault has got to be somehow related to those clues in bottles you've been collecting. If you can locate all the clues in this area, I should be able to crack the code and get you inside it.
Yep. I didn't quite explain that, but yeah, that's where we go and get whatever's in there. I think the first one is pretty good, too, even, so... Hey, nice for him to kick things off as a nice start, right?
You found it, Sly! That's the final clue to crack the code! Now find that vault, and I'll give you the instructions to open it!
Alright, what do you got for us? Excuse me. This operates the same way that it does in Carmelita Fox's office, but instead of getting plot, we get an item.
Sly, you found a page from the Thievius Raccoonus. This page teaches old Drake Cooper's fast attack dive move. Press the triangle button to use it.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be pretty good. This ability will be very useful as a gap closer for us. Which will be very useful because some enemies will turn around pretty quickly, and if we can't deal with them inside of that space, that can be a bit of a problem. Oh yeah, there is a bit of a double jump. It's just, I forgot about it because it's not very big.
That blimp looks like the most secured location on this boat. If Raleigh's really as smart as his police files.
Also, I tend to think a lot in terms of double jumps not being a thing, even though it's very common in platformers.
Why?
Because it's impossible to get near him. To access Raleigh's blimp, you would have to sneak through that high-voltage power tube. To do that without getting electrocuted, you'd have to destroy that power generator. And to do that, you'd need 2 more of Raleigh's treasure keys, which are heavily guarded.
And you're not going to put the generator a little deeper, buddy? Well, I guess he is the first boss for a good reason.
I've marked the areas you need to hit with holographic markers. Follow them to your objectives.
Thanks.
Don't mention it. It's your funeral.
Yeah, we get it, Bentley. Grab this hook, and we can take it for a lift downwards. So you can see that this is a bit of, again, they're introducing that concept to us very quickly. And they're also introducing to us this level of platforming inside of a hub level.
Found the lucky charm. That'll protect you when you take any damage.
A little bit rude, but okay. Not too hard. You get used to it after a while. And I told you that dive was going to come in handy. Get up to window. Is there any? Yeah, there's an extra life in there. I don't think the extra life is super important, but we may as well try to get it if we can real quick. Because this is a game that is very easy to die in. Yep. There we go. See? 2 free extra lives pretty early on. That said, extra lives are pretty hard to earn because we need 2 layers of the protective charm in order to get them from 100 coins. Otherwise, we just upgrade the charm. There's the silver level, and then there's the gold level that we get if we pick up another one afterwards. Which we're going to go try and do, because I see there's one over there. And we should be able to jump to that, right? That shouldn't be too hard. Yeah. And that will protect us from 2 hits. Obviously, we take 1 hit and it gets downgraded to a silver. But at this point, if we get to 100 coins, we get an extra life now, again. So, not completely impossible to get 1-ups, but it does take a while.
Better close those furnace doors. Jump and press the square button. That'll slam them shut.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Plus, you usually get the bottle in the same swipe, although if you don't, they fall to the ground and you can pretty easily grab them as you're walking past. I don't know how well I've shown it, but you don't have to, like, actually hit the bottles. If you just walk past them, they break too, but sometimes it is very important to swing at them in order to extend your reach a bit for something like that. Again, please. Alright, double jump, you idiot. Yeah.
Remember, Sly, hold down the circle button near the blue
As you can see, also, Sly does not like falling in water. He can't swim. We'll get an ability that will help fix that later, so we'll be able to fall in water and not take damage. Although, swimming is still off limits. We won't be able to do any sort of BS with it either. I mean, maybe in like a speedrun or something, that's a thing that can be done. I don't know for sure, but we're certainly not speedrunners of this game. I've played it a couple of times throughout my life, but I don't really know the ridiculous... Oh, that was bull. I don't know any of the, like, potentially super ridiculous speedrun techniques that I'm sure exist. Alright, so this area. We just bounce off of these automatically. We don't even have to do any button inputs. But you can see that the furnace grates don't stay closed for very long. We got everything in there, I think. I'm pretty sure we got everything. I'm like 20% sure, I guess. Yeah, here we got more, Yeah, I seem to remember these ramping up a little faster in terms of, like, how many blades they have. But, of course, you can see that the first one had, like, 1. And then we get to 2, and then eventually we get to 3, or... No, it's just the way that these are spaced out. Maybe further on in the level, there's ones that have even more blades on the fans, but I guess now I don't remember. Oh, okay, it's this area that I was thinking of, because you see there's the thing that we can't walk on at all. Well, it's electrified, first of all, but more to the point, just because we can't really land on it. And we've got this pipe with the weird cuts in it. How do you end up with a structure like this, anyway, inside of your machine, and it doesn't cause issues? That's so weird. I do not get it, but okay. Also, without those sections being broken at all, like, they're clearly damaged, but they're not broken. Ah, shit. That's not ideal. Even less ideal is the fact that we didn't, Well, we're gonna take a death here, because... Well, first of all, we get to see the Walrus Man pose there. I suppose the other dude is supposed to be a walrus, but... He definitely looked more like a beaver because of some reason. You only know a little bit about this series then, Irene? It's a pretty good game. No, it's not that kind of... There's no real, like, horrible game breaks that I know of offhand. Again, I'm sure that if there's speedrunners out there, they would know more about this kind of stuff than I would, and that just happened. Whoops. I screwed up the timing there. Alright, did we miss breaking anything while we were going over? Yeah, there we go. And disable the alarm. You can see we died last time right next to it, which... That's okay, I did it on purpose. At least that time I did. That'll probably be like one of the very few times I die on purpose in this game because I'm not good at it. Yeah, see, like that. I forgot that it's, I forgot the thing is rotating enough to actually kill me. Whoops. That's okay. We got enough lives for the moment that we don't have to worry about hitting a game over. And honestly, even if you do hit a game over, there's so little penalty for it. Like, oh no, you get sent back to the beginning of the level. but you keep all of the clue bottles that you've hit, and you don't even... I don't even think you get ejected back to the hub world if you don't want to. I will read that in a moment. Bit longer of a message, and my setup today is a little bit jank because, well, a little bit jank more than usual, I guess, because I was originally trying to run this on an emulator, and it was suffering from some major slowdown issues in a few places, which is certainly not my computer, like, choking or anything, because it shouldn't be a problem running a PS2 game. It's just, it's the emulator, which... Granted, my emulator is a little out of date, but still, somebody I know was playing one of the other Sly Cooper games on a PS2 emulator, and it was suffering from some slowdown, so maybe it's just a problem that's endemic to the entire series if it's being emulated. And I've done a reasonable amount of PS2 stuff via emulator, so... Again, I know that it's not, like, an imposition for me to do PS2. The Banjo games need to learn from this game. Yeah, I would not disagree with that, but also, the Banjo games were both before this, in terms of the Collectathon ones, anyway. Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, of course, is a little different. Well, interesting that it keeps going with Eternum Quest. That's unusual, but nice, I guess. If you level up that much, at least there's a reason for it. It may not be the most useful thing, but it's something, I guess. Okay, so... this section... there's some stuff we need to do in order to get through here, and there's still a couple of bottles in this area. Get some momentum. And swing on this life preserver that's just hanging out over here. Alright, do we just pull the hook? Yeah. We grab that and it just slams this thing towards the exit. We don't want to leave just yet, though, because there's still... well, I mean, for a start, you can already see that there's still at least one clue bottle over here. I don't remember how much more we're missing. It's 2. Well, we can try to go through there and see if we find the last 2 in there. There's... oh, no, I see what the deal is. Okay, these little mini-safes will usually contain 2 bottles each. So make sure you break those, otherwise... you might be like, oh, where's the rest of my... well, there it is. Oh, hey.
I can't believe I pieced this one together. Try 227.
227. Alright. And yeah, I guess the Banjo-Kazooie games can be remade at some point. Hopefully. That would be nice, anyway.
Interesting. Old Sally Cooper's fast getaway raccoon roll. Stories claim she can move faster rolling than anyone else could on the run. Hold down the triangle button to use this move. Switch between your power-ups using L2 and R2.
The roll is pretty useful. It's gonna get a little more useful later on, but for now... it's a pretty good way to get into and out of certain situations, although we're probably going to stick to the dive as our main move for a little bit, just because we don't usually need to run away too much. Also, ew, that rat just splattered green stuff everywhere. Ugh. That rat's full of snot for some reason. Alright, Alright, so this thing looks like it's full of fire, but you can very easily fix that by just closing these furnace gates as before. The rocking is a little bit... doesn't feel good, but that's okay. It's only for a brief moment. Oh, really? Just barely failed that jump. Come on. Come on. Imagine dying at the very end of the level. Oh, wait, I just did. Alright. Alright, now let's not screw this up. We almost did again anyway, though. That is a jump that really wants you to get to the edge of the platform before you get the key. But we got it. And yes, now we can go back into the levels and do time trials if we want to, but that's not super important. I don't even remember if those count as completion percent. Oh, also the 1-ups respawned, so we'll take advantage while we, you know, are in a world that gives them to us so freely. Because especially if I'm going to screw up some pretty easy parts of this game, we may as well. We may as well. That's all I got. Excuse me. The Lucky Charm is back too. We should grab that. We want an extra hit.
Hey Sly, you can adjust the game camera using the right analog stick. And to bring the camera behind you...
We were just doing that, but thank you. But as you can tell, the camera controls are a lot smoother than a lot of things we've been playing recently. Oh wow, that's... that's something. They're not gonna have a great time together. That's for sure. On a lot of levels.
Sly, look at all this stuff. Must be worth millions. And you know what that means. Tighter security. You're gonna have to be extra sneaky to get the treasure key here.
Oh... bullshit, man. This level is not much harder than anything else in this game. Especially not this early on. But more to the point, the fact there's all this stuff around here means that we can smash it and we can get a decent chunk of coins. At least inside of this hallway. Although here we get introduced to some pretty interesting laser patterns with them like swinging on the walls and stuff. Come on. There we go. See, I knew I could reach it eventually. After like a million years. The frog statues. The suit of armor gives us only 1 coin. That's kind of hilarious. Let's see if we can't get a better look at if there's one of the low to the ground frog statues like the one that we just smashed a moment ago. Because I looked at that and I'm like, wow, that just looks like an NFT. Oh wow, that's something. I haven't seen the new Mortal Kombat movie yet, but of course I remember the one from the 90s. Well, the 2 from the 90s rather, but I only kind of remember Annihilation. Mostly I remember that it was a mess. Because, well, let's be honest here. Not exactly going to be a whole lot of people's favorite movie. We'll say that. I did watch it, however, and there were some moments of questionable CGI. What the? Oops. That was not my intention whatsoever, but it got me over here, so okay. Amazing how much more easily I broke this game than I did the Pokemon games that have a reputation for being hilariously busted. I got nothing, folks. That was amazing. Unfortunately, we can't really get up there very readily at all, so we're gonna have to do like a full circuit in order to get to those 2 bottles. And there's where the big safe is, which is a god-awful place for it, because that means we'll either have to re-enter the level after we get the key, or we're going to have to basically go through the entire level to get all the treasure bottles, and then come back to the vault. And that's not exactly a great proposition, because the vast majority of levels in this game are mostly designed for you to go in one direction. You know, almost as if that's how a lot of platformers are designed. You know, Banjo-Kazooie was mentioned earlier, but that's a much more open-ended style of things. I got up here before. Come on. Don't be like this, game. Yes, we'd like to avoid that weird slingshot effect this time around. As funny as it was, and believe you me, we don't need that in our life so much. But now that we've gotten everything there, we can finally break this safe. Grab those bottles. Open up this statue. And dealing with these 2 safes is pretty easy. Ow. Those guys that just do the constant body slam thing have a very funny timing in terms of when you can actually get a good hit in. So what I'm saying is, don't feel bad if you screw it up. Or maybe I'm just trying to say that to myself in order to be like, hey, you're not a total scrub, even though I am kind of a scrub, let's be honest. I'm kind of a scrub. And yet, for some reason, I decided to play this game, right? This is not a game that is very welcoming to scrubs, and yet, here we are. Alright, 9 more bottles to grab. We're going to do the complete the level and then come back in method here. Because I don't want to go backwards through all this crap. Because there's a lot of it. I don't even remember if there's, like... I was going to say, I don't remember if there's a thing to turn the alarm off, and there is. And we got wrecked. Well, that's quite a plotline change that happened there. Wow. Oh, we're missing 3 bottles. What did I screw up? This is a bit of a problem. We may be going backwards here anyway. Here's the key. But we're missing a couple of bottles here. We'll take the key, and we'll restart the level. I.e., we'll go back in. And we will pick things up. Well, see, I remember something similar to that. I don't know how far off that really is from where the plot of the games went with Liu Kang. Because, of course, in Mortal Kombat 10, which I have to try really hard not to call Mortal Kombat X, even though, you know, that's kind of not correct on a couple of levels. It's not like Mega Man X, it's Mortal Kombat 10. They just specifically used a Roman numeral for that one. I think probably to sort of continue to mirror the original timeline because, excuse me, because of course there was a reset starting from Mortal Kombat 9, which was originally just called Mortal Kombat, but was called Mortal Kombat 9 by fans later to differentiate it from Mortal Kombat 1. And Mortal Kombat 2 used the Roman numerals, but no other numbered Mortal Kombat game did up until Mortal Kombat 10. So yeah, after, in Mortal Kombat 10, Raiden went dark again, and speaking of have to try real hard not to screw up the pronunciation, I gotta try at least a little bit to not call him Raiden. That's not correct, even though you would think, but no, it's Raiden. He went dark, and, like, Liu Kang is his enforcer in some way or another, if I recall correctly. So I guess I'm kind of, like, blending that up a little bit with some of the other plot lines, because a lot of people in MK10 ended up becoming zombies, who were characters from the earlier Mortal Kombat games. Like, there was a zombie Cabal and a zombie Sindel. And, of course, you couldn't play as Cabal or Sindel in 10 in any form whatsoever. They were just plot fights. Which is unfortunate because I do enjoy Cabal and Sindel. I mean, but Cabal definitely became a bit of a standby, especially once you started hitting Ultimate MK3, where he was not the broken thing, and it's like, hey, I almost don't feel bad for choosing this guy anymore. And then, of course, there's people you go to UMK3 and they're like, oh yeah, I gotta play as Striker because anybody ever wants to play as fucking Striker, right? Of all things. But no, that to me just having memories back to the some of the old games. It's been a while since I've played any of those though. Like definitely a couple of years. And I should mess around with those again at some point. R1 will let us zoom in here. If we can see anything. So once we get the map upgrade for this area, we'll be able to see like little green targeting reticles on our first person mode to see where the bottles that we've missed are. But for now, we're going to have to resort to hunting them the normal way. That's right, we're on a pixel hunt. It's just like we're playing Limbo of the Lost. A comparison that nobody would ever make to this game, right? Oh boy, I, on the other hand, am the sort of person who is very into a lot of the culture surrounding just garbage games in general, so I would absolutely say something like that for the purposes of trying to tell a joke. Fuck. I was gonna say, give me some iframes. I mean, the alarm system doesn't want to do that for me, but maybe the water can. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. MK versus DCU is really bizarrely hilarious to me nowadays because, of course, they went for the T rating. This was an era before, like, the edgier DC movies, like before Suicide Squad and before Birds of Prey and before Suicide Squad again. Actually, I believe the other Suicide Squad movie is called The Suicide Squad, technically. So it's really bizarre to see things like that, and also, in general, the fact that injustice exists too. So they can't be like, hey, it's just very odd to me that it is as goofy as it is compared to where you'd end up with a lot of DC stuff. And granted, that said, DC was no stranger to, like, weird edgy stuff by that period in time. I mean, Batman the Killing Joke, the original comic, not the weird animated film version, was not new at that time, that's for sure. The Killing Joke goes back to the 80s. And I don't know where that last 3 bottles are, so we'll come back to those in a bit. Once we are more able. Over here we got a thing we can run on. Sort of like a reverse hamster wheel in order to power these devices. Again, we should be able to get that map data in at some period. That is not the last power-up for this region. And I probably should go get... Yeah, I need to remember to get this and get the 1-ups. Because that was part of why I was so okay with sandbagging all of my health earlier. Because, yeah. How much does it matter if we can just recover everything this easily? Plus, we're all the way up to 9 lives now. I'm pretty sure we can go over 9. And by now, I mean in, like, 5 seconds when I get this. Yep, there we go. I believe we can go past this 9 lives, though, so... Excuse me, not a huge problem. We can, of course, also just go break that generator now and go do some of the levels on the other side. There are a grand total of 7 levels per world, counting the intro stage. 8 if you count the hub, which you probably shouldn't because it doesn't have a key. Only one way. As we go this way to the fire down below. Yes, I see someone else on the team was a Bob Seger fan.
Temperature's reading way off the charts in here. This must be the power source for the solar machine.
And here is yet another really not at the end of the level furnace, furnace. I was thinking about all the furnaces in this level. Big metal box thing. which presents a bit of an issue for us, because we're going to have to... We're really going to want to just exit the level and re-enter in order to get that, because... Yeah, going backwards through this entire level is not a fun proposition. This level can be a little rough on us.
Sly, see that machine wheel? If my knowledge of mechanical engineering serves me right, applying significant rotational torque to achieve maximum velocity will yield a positive result.
You mean something good might happen if I can get the wheel to spin fast enough?
Isn't that what I just said?
Well, we just did that in order to get into the level. I don't think you need to explain that to us again, but okay, buddy. Couple of coal rocks here, worth a decent chunk of money. Start running until the generator shows the nice yellow color there. You can see there's a bunch of stuff going on up here. Yes, we are going to have to go through that, but we're going to have to do it the other way. Even though, in theory, I think we could probably get up there from on top of that little smokestack thing. But they want you to go this way. That way we hit the checkpoint. We get the clue bottle. We get rid of Hammer and Harry over here. And up we go. Night Terrier, nice. Soul Calibur 3. What a game with a horrible memory card related glitch. Also a game that I was not very good at, because that was one where the AI really was like MK2 levels of ridiculous. And I'm talking about home console MK2, where it's like, okay, it no longer makes sense because there's no coins to guzzle here. I do think I eventually, with that game, I beat all of Weapon Master mode, I think it was called, which was like the weird sort of semi-strategy game that was broken up by fighting game sequences. And I got the Olkadan weapon for only Xianghua out of the single characters. I forget what it's called, but you know what it is if you've gotten that much into the actual game. And I'm pretty sure Xianghua is the only person I ever beat Night Terror with. I almost called him by the goofy joke name. Good work, me. That said, it's weird because, like, I don't think I really knew how to play Xianghua. She just was that good because, you know, what's game balance, right? Soul Calibur could be a little bit weird with that. In terms of, like, any sort of character things, I don't have a whole lot to say there because it's been a while since I've played any of those games. I bought Soul Calibur 6 for PC when it came out, and I didn't do much with that. I should pick that back up at some point. Oh, boy. This is a setup that's just a little bit on the rude side, isn't it? Breaks that down. I think I think we can get to vend a few clue bottles, but we don't need to push too hard for those, I don't think. Everything else, we got a bunch of this stuff out here. That said, Nightmare is absolutely, like, enough of an over-the-top villain that he would actually make a good drama teacher in that sense. I should probably pick one of the games back up. I think who I was best at in Soul Calibur 3 was Zasalamel. But Zasalamel absolutely had a really good cheeser. Like, you could just keep doing the flip attack over your enemies over and over. And if they didn't have enough foresight to guard it the first time, or timing for that matter, that was it. They had no chance whatsoever. I always kind of wanted to get good with Voldo, just because Voldo is so ridiculous. And he seems like he'd be a good time if you knew how to play him, but actually getting there, well, that's a bit of a process. That is something to be reserved for people a little more talented at fighting games than I. Alright, what do you got for us, Bentley?
I'm unbeatable! No code can stand before me! It's got to be 579.
579, eh? Of course there'd be a 5, which is as far from the one side as you can get, right?
These are the blueprints of Raleigh's entire operation. I wonder... Yes! I can wire this info directly into your binocucom. It'll show you the position of nearby clues and breakable...
And there you go. That's what I was looking for. There's our map data. So we can go deal with that one level that we didn't get everything in. Ah, don't get roasted. Never mind. Got roasted anyway. I think I deserved it, but don't tell anyone I said that, because, well. So let's see if we can't finish off that one vault in that level. And I think we can grab one more key before we go over to the other half of the map. Very early on in this game, they really do give you a lot of options in terms of what levels you can go to. Later on, the order is going to be a little more fixed in as much as they can be. Right up until the final storyline, when it's literally completely linear and there's no hub world whatsoever. Okay, so we're getting a reading in that general direction. We'll see what else we can figure out as we go. By the way, this is the statue that I was saying earlier looks like an NFT. Again, if, you know, Twitch permitting, you might be able to get a look at this ugly thing, but if not, it'll be on YouTube, as is the norm over in the Stream Archive YouTube channel. But see, now I don't know why it's giving me this crap today, because, you know, we've mostly seen this issue on Sundays. Maybe my ISP has just decided that it really does not like Twitch. That's always very much an option. Maybe Twitch has decided they don't like me. That would be quite unfortunate because, well, in that case, I would have to cancel my affiliate status if I wanted to be able to go stream on YouTube. Because that, I don't know how many of you are aware of any parts of Twitch's affiliate contract or anything like that, but that is one of the stipulations. Because Twitch are owned by Amazon, and Amazon are assholes. Well, granted, saying that, I'm sure that, like, any other service would probably be like that too, but honestly, I'm not gonna not take a moment to rag on something owned by Amazon. That way. Oh. Oh, they were in a really easy place. Wow. I can't believe I didn't think to look there. That's pretty embarrassing. So I think that probably involves a lot of just skipping fights entirely, right? Because then you don't gain experience and you don't throw that off.
Whoever thought this code up knew what they were doing. Dial in 436.
436. Alright, what do you got for us, guys?
Outstanding! Another page from the Thievius Raccoonus. This one features Dev Cooperenda's slow motion jumps. He used this to get by all kinds of airborne threats. Hit the triangle button while in the air to slow down time.
Not as useful as it sounds. I mean, it's cool, but it slows everything down equally, as you would probably expect. So it's just like, oh, you can spend that much longer with the dawning realization that you done fucked yourself. Because that's exactly what you want, right? Who knows? Maybe it'll happen eventually maybe when Soul Calibur 7 happens. I don't know what the current status of, like, whatever further add-ons Soul Calibur 6 might be getting. That came out a couple of years ago, didn't it? So maybe by this point Namco has gone like, yeah, we're done with this one. I don't have any of the DLC for that game either, though. I need to remember to pick up that stuff at some point. The main thing I remember about Soul Calibur 6 DLC is that there's a 2B guest fighter, because 2B was just in everything pretty much at that point. Which, I mean, again, I'm not necessarily going to complain. I like Nier Automata. I like butts. Sorry, that just sort of came out that way. Terrible jokes aside, you know, I do think that Nier Automata is a very good game, and if you're going to put a character into everything, I guess why not have 2B, because it's a good character design. But overall, it is sort of like, on the other hand, but also other characters do exist.
Only one way to find out.
And I think I've said this before, though, that nothing will ever quite be stranger for the franchise than having Darth Vader and Yoda as the guest fighters. Having, like, actual, just straight-up Star Wars characters. Soul Calibur definitely went through some unusual phases. There was one game where they had Ezio as a guest fighter, and while my opinions about Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft in particular are a little bit on the mixed side, nicely, that sort of, it it's a good fit, basically, is what I'm saying. And yeah, Soul Calibur 4 was kind of the point where they were like, oh, by the way, we're basically going to be prototype Senran Kagura, but also we're trying to really make you think that this is serious. Except, well, that kind of ruined the series' reputation forever, and I'm not exactly confident that it was in a super good place. Like, I think even by Soul Calibur 3, things were getting a little bit on the, you know, easily mockable side. Oh, he was listening for me. Wow. What a jerk. But certainly, Soul Calibur 4 really pushed it past a level. To the point of actually having to modify Ivy's costume for releases outside of Japan. Well, having to might be a bit of a stretch, but I mean that in the sense of, like, they probably were thinking, hey, maybe let's not go afoul of the ESRB. We would rather our game continue to remain, you know, 13 plus. Which, I get it. It more adequately recalls what market they're selling that to, but, yeah, so that's an unusual one, because, like, I don't ever hear people complaining about that in the extremely still a thing world of people who are very vocal and very whiny about video games being changed in releases from the US, from Japan to the US. And possibly the other way around too, I guess, but I don't know that any of them actually play that many Western games. But somehow that one just really has disappeared from the popular lexicon, which is bizarre, because you'd think that that would be a really easy one for a lot of those people to glom onto. Oh, we need to go back and get the barrel again. I thought there was another one for some reason. I was wrong. And yeah, 3 had the issue where they wanted to have, like, the create a character movesets, but they just decided to basically clog up the unlockable roster with a bunch of characters that were just skins specifically for those. Like, oh, hey, check out our create a character. Here's our samples that our interns made. Ah! Yeah, nice homing shot, jackass. Fuck! Really? Of course you had to do that. Alright. Fuck. God damn it. This one enemy absolutely killed us. That went so badly. Make sure that's on. Alright, so. Or that guy can turn around too fast for us to deal with. This is going to be a bit of a difficult thing to get past without losing all the coins. I suppose we may just have to surrender at least some portion of them. But we're going to have to do it very carefully anyway, because, yeah. Get out of here. There we go. Finally surmounted this one generic enemy. They're really going to want us to take the barrel the rest of the way, huh? I don't like this level. A bit too gimmick-oriented. Vault is over there. That's not too far to go back. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I definitely need to actually go through more of Soul Calibur 6 at some point. See about picking up that DLC. Hopefully it's at a point where it's fairly, you know, at some point it'll be at a point where it's fairly cheap anyway. Even though right now I'm sure that it's at the same price that it was when it was released, because that stuff doesn't drop. Oh, I'm surprised by that. Then again, I mean, I guess on the other hand, Soul Calibur has a fan base that is overwhelmingly in a specific direction, to put it diplomatically. I.e. a lot of straight men. So, yeah. Where's... Alright, I need to not be so silly. I have this thing. Right. We can go over this, can't we? We push it out of the way. Pardon me. Oh no, that was the last two. I thought there were another 3 to get for some reason. Camera. Camera, please. Are these... Oh yeah, that's right. Those came back after I died. Deaths that I've already forgotten about, because they just tend to happen a lot in this game.
With the help of a straight edge and compass, the answer was simple. Dial in 242.
Except we're inputting it almost like we have to put in 442, because I forget how the directions work on the dials, because I'm real good at this.
Interesting. Chris Cooper's dive collection technique. This move is an extension of the dive move you already know. Just jump and hit the triangle button near breakable objects for some fast breaking, fast collecting action.
Yep, there we go. There's our proper butt slam, as it were. Or the term that they really want us to think of is ground pound for any of these games, but come on. We're all thinking butt slam, because we're all just like that. And as implied, it has a pretty decent AoE, especially for breaking stuff, which we're not going to get a good chance to see around here, because we've already broken everything, except for this, which I think you have to actually hit it with the stick the regular way. Yeah, that is absolutely true, is that Raphael comes off in a, like, really disturbing way. And they just kept going further with that with every installation or so. Oh, sure. Make me hit it with the stick. And you can see that gave up a nice chunk of money. That gave us a nice 20 coins there. Alright, so this charm, did this even spawn? It did not, because we have gold already. That's weird. Yeah, it's just in every game as a result of having picked it up as being the butt stomp in various forms and fashions from Mario, and in a way almost from Banjo-Kazooie. Not quite as much, where it's really just, hey, drive the bird into the ground. But still to an extent. And some of the slams in DK64. It's just kind of been my general go-to for any downward striking move to be deemed a butt slam or a butt stomp or something like that. Even if it is nothing like that, like the downward strike that I forget what it's called in the Ratchet and Clank series, the Comet Strike. Actually, I think the Comet Strike is the throwing attack, but it's been a while.
You're not gonna tell me I have to shoot myself out of that cannon.
I'm afraid that's the only way.
Now you're talking.
You're really scaring me, man. Anyway, to get inside that thing, you have to steal all 7 of Raleigh's treasure keys.
Oh no, we have to complete 2 more levels in order to be able to fight the boss. Oh no.
Yeah. And
You're a little too concerned in this one, Bentley. And yeah, that's the thing, is that Voldo, like, just looks weird and acts a little weird, but that's about it. Like, he's still kind of a cool guy underneath everything, and I just generally, you know, I think he's neat. And he's, again, like an actual good guy up to a point. Compared to a lot of other people. Yeah, the down thrust in Zelda 2. That too, that's kind of like a butt stomp. I don't play Zelda 2 a lot, though, because it's really hard and I'm really bad at it, even if it wasn't. And also, I just kind of forget about it in general sometimes. Except when it crops up in my brain for a while and just is stuck there forever. Like, I'll just hit a period where it's like, oh, this is all I can think about in the series now for some reason, is how much people disdain it. And then I go and I try to play it, and it's like, oh, I get it. It's because it flies in the face of a lot of things that the series is mostly about for you. Somehow the body slam guy didn't get us there for some reason. That's a little weird. I might have a look at the Zelda 2 randomizer. I've got a list of randomizers sitting on my, well, in my Firefox tabs, rather. But on my computer, I guess, in a sense. So I can go dig one of those up without too much difficulty. And I say one of those because I'm making an assumption just in advance that there's more than one. The game does have a comparatively small but extremely devoted fan base. So I could totally see there being more than one. That said, a couple of games I think only have like one real randomizer. I think there's only the one for OOT, for example. Which is one that I'm okay at. It just takes forever. What the fuck was that, dude? Come on. Get. Oh, and I lost both hits for that. Wonderful. That's real nice game. I didn't want that health or anything. Cool. Fuck! Well, I think we actually pinged the checkpoint, because I think I saw the screen flash. Yeah, so... if it weren't for the fact that death animation took so long, that's almost like a skip. The world's slowest skip a single jump that you can do really easily. It's like the worst possible technique that you could possibly attempt in a speedrun. What? I missed him? So I'm pretty sure that the downward attack actually can hit enemies. Like, clearly the regular dive can, but I could have sworn the stomp dive did too. I'm just gonna keep calling it stranger and stranger things as I go. How many of these do we need? Still 5. Okay. Hey! Don't do that. Fuck out of here. There we go. That's better. And we now have all of the clue bottles for this level. And yes, I am definitely going back for the coins, even though there's no real reason to. We'll collect plenty of those as we go, don't worry. But I did it anyway, because... some reason. Hey! Get back on the rope. Yeah, there are definitely some instances where things can get a little bit janky in that particular way.
Oh, you're lucky, Sly. This page features Karen Cooper Giwa's coin magnet technique. All she had to do was stand near money, and it would magically jump into her purse. From now on, you'll automatically collect any coins you come near.
Alright, expanded coin grab range. That makes things a little bit easier. That would have meant we wouldn't have to have jumped off of that rope to get those last couple. Oh well. Grab that key, and I just remembered the basics of what the last level is. Oh boy. So before we do that, we're going to go back and we're going to grab some stuff.
Select button to bring up your mission map. From there, you can check out the stats on places you've been to, and also take some shortcut warps to get around faster.
Thanks, but I'm probably going to forget to do that. Alright. Get a charm. Going this way. That, and we'll get the other one up. I wonder how he plays. I don't know offhand anything about those, so yeah, I just know that they're a thing, and it's really, really out of place. Ah! Crud. There we go. I have a feeling we're going to end up needing quite a few of these lives, to say the least. Now, here's this walrus man that I mistook for a beaver earlier. For treasure in the depths, which is one of the first of the levels in, and by one of, I mean it's the first level in this game where you're not controlling Sly Cooper in the normal way. This is a vehicle level.
You found it, Sly. This is where Raleigh's gang of crabs stashes his sunken treasure. Use your sub to blast him. The left analog stick controls the sub. Give it a try.
So basically we've got kind of a twin stick shooter thing going on, which actually works pretty okay. However, it really throws you off because the rest of this game is a platformer. Pause here and scratch a tiny itch on the side of my head.
You'll need to collect all 40 chests. Do not let a crab take one into a tube.
And you have like no leeway for this, and you are given, the only practice you get really is like 2 seconds or so of, hey, learn how to hold the controller. The controls on this, however, are pretty good, which, as we're going to end up finding out eventually, is a rarity for the vehicle segments in this game when we have to do stuff like drive the van, which controls like garbage. And of course, the other thing is that these chests take a while to open up. Like, they take a lot of shots each, and granted, at the very least, the crabs are pretty easy to kill. Also, I think we managed to get that chest broken open for free by virtue of it being, like, right on the edge of being pulled into the tube. And we killed the crab in time. Also, that was a bit of hit detection for a second there. Not for too long, but definitely for a bit. You can see this is really starting to heat up because there's just so many of these damn crabs. Fuck! Yeah, and it's very easy to end at the... It's very easy to lose the level at the very end. Just because there's so much stuff going on, and it's like, well, I have to keep pushing the things in order to get the treasure chests to get the level done. But also monitoring these crabs and the fact that you're in sort of this donut shape. Like, this ain't no Smash TV, where at the very least in Smash TV you'd have like a square arena or something, and you'd have a lot more to deal with, but it would be pretty easy to just be like, hey, yeah, there's no obstacles here. The other thing, of course, is that the chests block your shots. So they essentially become more walls that just move around as you go. Ah, get back here. Fuck. Yeah, see, there you go. My one side gun was being blocked by the chest that I was rubbing up next to, and that stopped me from getting that crab. And then we lost the level as a result. And honestly, sometimes having only one gun blocked is kind of worse than having your entire stream of fire blocked, because it's like, oh hey, with that, at least you know that you're not doing anything. If only half of your area of effect is completely blocked, it's like, well, I don't know if I'm making any progress or not, because you can't see. I wonder if there's someone out here who's beaten this without letting a single crab grab a treasure chest at any point. That's got to be insanely hard. Especially when you start ending up in situations where the chests just drop on top of the crabs and you can't do anything about stopping that. Also, yes, another thing that I noticed that I haven't brought up at this point is that the health meters for the chests reset after a point. Fuck, 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 fuck. Damn it. Oh. There were only 2. If I'd gotten that last one as it was going in the pipe, that would have been over. But of course, that's a big if, because they were... there were 2 crabs that were going into pipes at various points there, and I only had enough time to deal with 1. As you probably could tell. I don't know how well it came across, but I'll pretend that it did. Then again, we're also talking about my internet's frame rate going absolutely nowhere right now, because I don't fucking know why. Don't know what the deal is right now. Hey. Fuck you. How did that happen? I don't even know there. That one just got away from me. I know how it happened, I just don't want to admit it. Makes me unhappy to think about. Back here. Fuck, I'm stuck. Don't do that to me. Don't. Fuck, god damn it. Yeah, this is gonna take a bit. I'm gonna need a moment for this. This is gonna be a bit of a mess. At the very least, we don't lose lives for failing this. We can just try again for free. They decided to be nice about that, which, you know, I will accept something, I suppose. There we go. That took a bit.
You did it.
Sonic 06 exists in kind of a weird place. Like, I'll at least say that Sonic 06 had ideas up to a point. It's just a matter of execution, and Sonic 06 was pretty severely rushed, if I recall correctly, so I guess that doesn't surprise me that it didn't always work out too well. Although I think the humans in Sonic 06, then again, it's like, I'm not sure how weird I should think of humans in a Sonic game as being, because of course, you're always fighting against Dr. Robotnik anyway, and he's, well, he has an unusual figure, but he is definitely a human being, right? So, is that actually that weird? Or not? Because it's very clear that humans exist somewhere out there. But, huh. Oh, is that... The bug testers were fired. Yeah, of course they were. I've said it before, and I will probably end up saying it again quite regularly because, hey, welcome to the video game industry. But QA tends to be like one of the first things to go in any sort of case like that when a company wants to cut corners on money. But also, it's always a really stupid idea because then you end up with things like a broken mess like Sonic 06. Ah, okay. Well, this shows you how much attention I've been paying to a lot of the Sonic plots. Especially the older stuff. And yet YouTube has been recommending me a lot of videos about Ken Penders. So of course I've been eating those up because, good God, what a thing, you know? The Sonic Archie comics in general are kind of strange. But here we go, it's time for our first boss fight.
Listen, Raleigh, wipe out my family and steal what's mine, you better expect company.
Oh, I'm ever so sorry. How sloppy of me not to finish the job. Obviously, we should have snuffed you out as well. So, without further ado, let me make an end as my what? Bloating to gargantuan size and squashing you like the insignificant bug that you are.
That's a lot of exclamation points. They're probably a little blurred because, you know, composite out, but... Oh, Sonic 06 and Secret Rings were made by the split staff. Ooh, that could be a bit of a problem, because, yeah. Alright, so phase 2 of this fight is a little strange, because we just stay on the one platform if we can anyway. Alright, phase 3, pardon me. This is where we have to start leading this guy around while he's, you know, in DeviantArt mode, as it were. Now we go back down to one platform, and he's bringing out a new attack, which is this thing that can shove you around pretty easily. On the other hand, that was a pathetically easy boss fight.
Beaten me. Well, gloat all you want, Sly Cooper. You're no match for Mugshot, my villainous cohort in Utah. You'll see. Mesa City is so well guarded, a snake couldn't slither in without setting off alarms.
Raleigh's section of the Thievius Raccoonus held detailed instructions on how to perform my ancestor Ryoichi Cooper's ninja Spire jump, a technique he developed while sneaking into the thickly fortified castles of feudal Japan. Finding a way off Raleigh's boat got a little tricky with the untimely arrival of Inspector Fox, who, failing to find me, busted Raleigh and his crew. With the storm machine out of commission, boats found their way back onto the ocean, and the mystery of the Welsh Triangle faded from memory. My gang and I loafed around England for a while, enjoying the pleasant weather, and then headed back home, excited for our next heist.
Oh boy, Utah. I don't want to go there anyway. Sheesh.
I took the
But,
liberty of pinning your mission
you know what?
map up on the wall. You can use it to warp directly to any levels you've already.
If that's what they're gonna make me do, well, that is, I don't remember a lot about Sonic Unleashed except for the night stages being fairly long
We're all set.
and
Go to
the
City.
music track being a little bit repetitive because they really only had the one going. Let's start in on this in order to wrap things up, and hopefully on Wednesday there won't be the frame issues that I'm having today. I don't know why I'm having this problem,
The notorious mugshot.
but here we are.
Muscle of the fiendish five. What he lacked in brains, he definitely made up for in brawn. Turns out he wasn't always that way. He grew up as the run of the litter. A neighborhood weakling. The only friends he could turn to were usually found on the big screen. It was there that he spotted his first gangster, and he knew instantly that that's what he wanted to be. He spent the rest of his youth working real hard to get there, fueled on his dreams of great power and respect. With enough perspiration, he realized that dream. He'd become a hard-boiled, street-brawling, tough-as-nails gangster, ensuring that he'd never be kicked on or pushed around again.
Shooting a lot of bullets out of... Well, no, I guess they're supposed to sort of be like Thompsons, but they kind of just look like really fat revolvers.
I've always wanted to go to that thriving American
Probably just
town.
because the handgun design. Oh well. Alright, we're heading into a ZZ Top music video apparently. Let's make this work. Let's see what we can do here. Well, first we get a new ability, and we'll learn about that in a second. But first, yes, there are 40 bottles to collect in this opening area, and they are spread out, if I recall correctly.
I thought you said Mesa City was going to be loud and busy. This looks more like a ghost town.
Something's happened. Where is everyone?
I don't know, but it's starting to give me the creeps. What do you say we take off?
And miss all the fun? Besides, I want to try out that new move I got from Raleigh's section of the Thievius Raccoonus.
You mean the ninja Spire jump?
Yeah, do me a favor and read me the instructions again.
To landeth safely upon diminutive points, leapeth lively and presseth the triggering device with the round geometrical object emblazoned upon it.
So, jump and hit the circle button to land on narrow spots.
That's a rough translation.
Well, good to see that they operated using controllers even back then. And of course, we got new enemies, and as you probably would guess from who we're fighting against around here, they all look like dogs. Or are dogs in this case. This is just not even like a dog person. It's just a big angry bulldog. Weird to see like regular animals and animal people mixed up in the same world. It's like seeing Goofy and Pluto at the same time and being like, wait a second. Something seems a little bit off here. Oh, well, I'm glad that was somehow safe. Well, there you go. Good old getting blocked by things in a 3D platformer. And it's just the way it goes. That's an occupational hazard of playing this type of game. Discount Ganon. Maybe a little. Ah!
What's with those flashing lights?
The latest in high-tech security. Electronic floor sensors. Step on them and you're a goner.
Nice touch.
They're safe to walk on while flashing, but it also means they're about to switch to a different sector.
Alright, so we've got basically the same concept behind the lasers and the spotlights, except they're floor panels now. And we also have me failing to get a single clue bottle that was in a slightly precarious position, but which honestly shouldn't be giving us that much trouble. However, we are pretty well stocked on lives, so at least we've got that going for us. We're not going to hit a game over at any point too soon. Otherwise, oh no, we'd have to restart this level that hasn't presented us too much challenge yet. Guy's got a big ball on a chain that looks like it should have hit us, but I guess the chain part doesn't cause any damage. This dude throws a fan of cards at us. Really thinks he's Gambit, I suppose. Coat's not anywhere near as nice, though. Although, better color. So, credit where it's due, right? But only there. Deal with these two bulldogs. And we got some crushionators. Again, I guess this whole area has kind of an aesthetic of being like an auto-wrecking yard. So, you gotta have some of that going on. Oh, don't worry. I saw that dude that time. Saw a little bit of the chunk of wood over the top of the fence. Hey guys. Unfortunately, these dudes are not stupid enough to like run off the edge. Which would be absolutely hilarious if they were, and yet, unfortunately, not so much. Hey, I was gonna say don't double deal me, but at least the game had the decency to not do that. You know, it was looking like it was set up for that, and yet not so much. Thank goodness. That's enough out of you. You didn't see nothing. And the way all those things are set up is definitely in a way where you can accidentally trigger some of the floor traps pretty easily. So credit for like actually having a very dense level setup like that was like an actual threat. So we are short one bottle here. And of course, as you can see, that map data was only useful in Raleigh's domain, so we don't know exactly where it is. But we may as well grab the key real quick, to at least mark the level as complete. Hey, Lethal, you are in for watching the watching my internet connection have a bad time with this tonight for some reason. I don't know why it's being like this, but how's it going? I hope you're doing pretty well. Well, that is probably something I deserve to get hit by at least once, but I couldn't see where it was happening from because that camera angle. Been a rough day. Well, that's unfortunate. Hopefully tomorrow or whatever the next day is, I guess, is not so bad. This series is pretty fun. I, however, have only played through the first game and about half of the second one. The first game is really good for most of the runtime, although the last world, you start getting into a couple of issues with a few levels here and there, because they just do not control super well. Also, yeah, you can die in the trash fire. Whoops. Yeah, I don't know what's happened, because, you know, at least a while ago it was fine. It's not like it's switched over to being like, oh hey, we're gonna use your wireless connection instead. It would be really stupid for my computer to do that because I have an Ethernet cable in there, so I may have to go and take a look and see if something is wrong with the router or whatever. I hope not. The rest of my internet has been working fine. It's really just when I try to stream to Twitch. I don't think I've run into real issues with like any other website. So we're gonna pin the blame on Twitch, but yeah. Alright, so we went ahead and we died here, and yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm pretty sure I don't have it connected to Wi-Fi at all right now. Oh, is it? Okay, no, I just looked at it and it is. That's weird. I could have swore I had that turned off. So literally, I've been on that since I got the cable then, probably. And it just happened to not be shitting its pants for that long. That's... Okay, I am not taking the blame for that one, is all I'm going to say here. Is that, yeah, technically, you could argue that that's my fault, but when your design is that bad, that is you as a corporation. I want Steve Ballmer's fucking head on a platter, you know? I mean, I could aim for Bill Gates, but Bill Gates is not... You know, he's not with Microsoft anymore. I'm pretty sure that by the time Windows 10 dropped, that was all Steve Ballmer. And yeah, I just switched off the Wi-Fi, and while I'm still getting some frame drops, it's not nearly as bad. Also, he mentioned mathematics, and the code is 314 because it's pi. It's joke. They're still there, but they're a lot less. So at the very least, I got that going for me.
Outstanding! You've uncovered Rob McCooper's patented explosive hat technique.
Explosive hat technique. Oh man, this is...
Then use the triangle button again.
This one's pretty fun.
Better back off to a safe...
If only for reasons of goofing off. The exploding hat can kill you because this game is just kind of rude, but let's get back onto safe land here. Press triangle. Throw the hat out. Get away. Press the button. It explodes. Pretty entertaining. And if you set things up, it's actually pretty useful for getting rid of certain enemies, but most of the time, we're probably not going to use it. However, it is still a very entertaining bit of business. And I mean, I just like the concept of exploding hat technique. What a good name for a move. Thank you, Sly Cooper. What an excellent game. Yeah, like, it's not like, oh, hey, your hat is packed with dynamite or anything. It's a reasonably small little smoke cloud type of explosion. But it still kills things real good. So you got that going for you. Loathing damage.
Well, this mugshot certainly isn't shy. Okay, so we know he's here somewhere, but how are we supposed to find him? Mesa City is a big place.
Given that he's a bulldog, it seems only reasonable to assume that he chose to live in a giant fire hydrant.
That's some sound
Giant fire. Oh my god, this game just keeps getting sillier.
Think of something.
Also, nicely convenient setup, like half-functioning car there with the 3 keys on it. Oh, crap. That hurt. Alright. Turn around. Wow. That is some range on that dude. Well, thanks for stealing all my health, you bastard. Yeah, one other thing. I mentioned that this game is pretty hard. The other big thing is that it really does step up the difficulty pretty fast. So, you know, we didn't have too much difficulty with Raleigh's Dominion there. We managed to beat it with... Well, we died a couple of times, but... Like, it wasn't hard, you know. It was reasonable. It was sort of tutorial land, but... Still reasonably tough. It was, you know, felt like NES tier, I guess, a little bit. Meanwhile, this just steps things up by a pretty wide margin. And making things even more obvious in that direction, there are quite a few levels that are more gimmicky than what we've been dealing with before. Like, in the last world, we only had the 1 vehicle level. Here, we've got 2, I think. Again, counting one of them is a turret level, so you know, you may question if that's a real vehicle, but we're going with it now, and we're going into one of the more difficult levels in this area first.
Murray, what's going on down there?
Well, I drove to this hot dog stand for a quick snack, and the next thing you know, I'm getting challenged to a race by these gangster dogs.
Is there a key in it for the winner?
Yeah, 3 times around the track for a key.
It's all you, man.
Oh, so they're just gonna straight up offer this straight to Murray? That doesn't seem like a clever way to do things, but all right. Excuse me. Also, yeah, the track for this level goes fucking hard, all told. Most of the music in this game has been kinda middling, but this is the world where the soundtrack really starts to step up, in my opinion. Ah! And yeah, the other cars will just take away the nitro items from you. And you bounce around in this van like nobody's business. Which makes this really hard to deal with sometimes. On the other hand, it is controlled almost entirely by the left stick and pressing the square button in order to use your boosts. Yeah, this is definitely not any Mario Kart. This ain't no Double Dash, that's for sure. Mario Kart Double Dash. I haven't played that in a while. Good game, though. And also one I'm not very good at. Although I'm not very good at this either, so... yeah. Honestly, with the fact that we turned over during one of these laps, the fact that we got into third place at all at the end of this is pretty good.
Man, those crummy dogs are bumping me right and left.
Oh. I let go of the stick. I immediately switched into actual kart racer controls for a second. That was a weird thing to do. We're gonna try and stockpile some boosts here because you can carry a pretty large amount of these nitro cans, oddly enough. Like, I think it's even more than the 3 that we're at right now. There might be no theoretical limit outside of, like, the limitations of the size of the data the data type. You know, like basically int limit and everything. I would assume that it was stored as a, you know, I would assume that the number is stored in a value no larger than a byte. So, a theoretical limit of 255 if you were in this area for a very, very long time. Which, granted, it is pretty tough, so being stuck here for a very long time is not as strange as it might sound. Things are getting a little messy here. Hey. Trying to pass that dude for like an hour, pretty much.
Man, those crummy dogs are bumping me right and left.
As everyone else just piles up behind me. That was amazing. Ah! What the hell just... That was pretty incredible, but I think I have to take a restart there in order to actually be able to have even the remotest chance of winning here. Also, yeah, there's a billboard advertising the developers of the game, Sucker Punch. I'll refrain from turning that into a joke of, you can tell this city is a shithole because they're advertising a Zack Snyder movie, because, well, I actually kind of respect this company a little bit. That, and, you know, I know that Zack Snyder's fan base can be a little bit touchy. I don't want to start too many fires, except for the one that I pretty much just did right there. I'm not specifically weighing in on my feelings about the films of Zack Snyder, although I admit that I'm not specifically a fan. They just never really captured my interest. Oh, that was some physics. That... Oh, damn, couldn't even pass that, I'm kind of disappointed I did not manage to pass the second place car. Because of that ridiculous me just flipping over in midair. But at least it was kind of funny looking. I wanted to get a nice look at the big car here. As you look at the three dogs hanging out the back. That's pretty great. Good design, but you don't get a great glimpse of it. Maybe it's like really terrible if you look at it up close for too long. Could be. I mean, why not, right? Oh god, they're wearing sombreros. I just realized, oh shit, the car is supposed to be like... It's supposed to be like playing La Cucaracha, basically. Oh man, that is even more ludicrous. I love it. Very silly. Thank you very much. Company that developed Rocket Robot on Wheels. And has since been consigned to putting fun physics goofy shit into all of their games ever since. Ah, Rocket Robot on Wheels. That was a tech demo. Is technically an incorrect statement because, you know, when I say tech demo, I'm sure people are like, oh, like, it was used to test out the system. No, it was a very early physics-based 3D platformer for the N64, was Rocket Robot on Wheels. One of the earliest console games, to my knowledge, that had a dedicated physics engine. But I'm not 100% sure that it was, like, a great game. It played okay, but a large part of it was more like the, oh hey, this physics stuff is really fun. Yep, we managed to get it, and Murray is not so good at collecting the keys. I almost said Murphy, that's not correct. That level's a little bit rough, as you could tell. And that's not a joke about the fact that there's all those dogs. And I feel like it's a little bit luck-based. I don't know, maybe it is all skill and I'm just that bad at it to a point where it feels like it's luck-based. Someone who's a little better versed in this game could probably tell you if it's just me scrubbing it up, or if there is actually a little bit of RNG to it in a very serious way. Especially because we did see the La Cucaracha car in second place there instead of in first where it usually is, so I would assume that there is actually some luck there. Let's move on to the other big, not platforming level of this area. Nice. Here's our turret.
Murray is in position to make a run for this key.
Okay, so what do I do?
Provide some covering fire for him with that blast.
Yep.
Sweet.
We're getting these out of the way now, because otherwise they're a pain in the butt.
Let's go, Sly. No.
But I'm just thinking, come on, at least let me deal with this. I know that technically Murray is supposed to be the muscle of the team, but also Sly is not exactly an incompetent fighter either. Like, he's got some real skill with that stick, and he does surprising damage for it being a wooden cane, as far as I can tell. Even though the tip is like gold, I don't think it's actually made of metal. I think it is supposed to be implied that it's just all wood and it's just painted gold. But yeah, the controls on this are a little bit floaty, to say the least. And on top of that, there's a part where it's a turret section. Also, yes, there is... Well, first of all, we just killed Murray by blowing up some exploding barrels. But what I meant to say is, I'm pretty sure there's friendly fire just to really rub in how much this game hates you. As much as I said I respect the company that developed this game, they are definitely dicks. You know, somebody was like, hey, we need to... All those other stealth games are a little too easy, so we need to make the one that's literally for 7-year-olds to be disgustingly painful. Are you serious? Wow, okay, Murray. Way to die from like 1,000,000 feet away from that barrel.
I'm going in, Sly.
Congratulations, you are the world's fragilest hippo.
No, nice shot.
There we go. We got that far in advance because apparently Murray's schnoz is just that sensitive to fart-smelling chemicals. Okay, I think he might have actually gotten properly hit there, but on the other hand, I mean... Okay, so... Can we go beyond the gate? No, we have to shoot the gate open in order to actually start the level at all. So we're not going to be able to get like super far ahead of that thing. However, you might have been able to catch that during certain sequences we can actually get ahead of the enemies that are out on the field. Like anything that comes in through the subways, we can kill those well in advance if we are a little attentive. Except for that dude who just sort of sneaks in from outside of the draw distance, basically. Like that dude, if I was fast enough, I could probably have gotten him before he became an issue.
I made it halfway.
Yeah, don't shoot that. There's barrels. It's a good thing my slow reaction time is actually helping me here. Yep, Murray's halfway there and he's living on a prayer. Oh, they're bringing in the big guns, I see. And they are coming in hot. Whoa, 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 whoa. That dude was going super fast. He's up on the rooftops. Stop fucking it up. Oh, that aim is rough there. Because, again, I really... I feel like I should have, like, hand cam, but of course I tend to be very, you know, I do a lot of hand motions and stuff with the controller, you know, I move it around a bit. That might not necessarily be the easiest thing to set up and keep reliable. Don't you be snarking me, buddy. Alright, well, I was worried that we shot Murray there for a second. Oh no, not Bill Murray. Wait, no, that's something else. Gotcha, buddy. Alright, so we're trying to stay a little bit ahead here if we can. Alright, halfway. Why are there no checkpoints? I assume just because, like, this level is fairly short overall. And, again, just sort of a corollary to what I was saying earlier, is that the devs really don't like you. The folks who developed this game are fucking mean as fuck. Oh. Alright, so... background.
I'm almost done.
Alright. Is that the last guy? Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, if somebody else popped up in front of the key, I'd just be like, just book it, you idiot. Yeah, purple dumbass. We did it! We did it, and I don't think it cost us too many lives in the grand scheme. Probably only like 4 or something. Yeah, I think 4 is what that took from us. Maybe 5. Still, I'll take it. I didn't game over during that level. Because I really am that bad at that. But we get to go into a platforming level now, so things are gonna be a little bit nicer on us as we move into Boneyard Casino. This level's got some pretty nice music, too. I don't think it really changes up if you get caught, either, so... It's a nice, fairly chill track.
Nice job getting in, but look out for those guards. Mugshot's got those machine gun-toting dogs hunting like a pack.
Yeah, they really want to imply that this level is like... You gotta do things real stealthily, but I don't think that this one is much more aggressively so than any other. Oh, we're getting a faster remix here than any of the other platforming levels is what I meant to say. Unfortunately, then, I just completely fucked this up. But this is also a thing where... yeah. It can be very hard to recover from a fall here, basically. Because you get all of these dudes who are just immediately... You know, they're all on our asses as soon as possible, because when one of them hears, all the other dudes with the whistles are just like, hey, yeah, let's go for it. Speaking of let's go for it, we managed to... Unfortunately, the dive only hits a single enemy at a time, which is the thing that I did not remember. But it is still a really good gap closer, and I think that probably gave us a big advantage in that fight. From just being able to sneak in before they could hear our footsteps. On the upside, there is a lot of stuff that we can break in this level. For coins. So, getting our health and eventually lives back is not going to be super hard, I don't think. Yeah, plus there's another charm, like, literally right here. That, by the way, is a good place for the mine, but I didn't feel like using it, and I didn't even think about that until after I reached that point. So, whoops. Guess who doesn't think about their superpowers very much? It's me. And we want all those bottles. There's a good chunk of them in this level, so... the fewer we leave on the ground, the better. Yeah, even though you'd think this level is supposed to be more about setting up fights where you have a good advantage against large groups of those guard dogs, they're really throwing a lot of singles at us, or ones that are really easy, like that two pair that we dealt with a moment ago. Yes, the two pair, because, you know, a pair inherently is two, but apparently I have to say two pair because I'm an idiot or something. Alright, so getting at this hook is necessary in order to get... I think this thing can also vomit out a couple of clue bottles. Or is it just coins? But yeah, of course, it's not an operable slot machine. It's a different kind of club. Thanks. Thanks, Lethal. Also, look at the mugshot archway and its tiny dangling legs. It's very silly. And now, because what would a Sly Cooper level be without bottomless pits or the equivalent thereof? For some reason, half of this casino is waterlogged. I don't know what's going on here. But, okay. As we move on from it being a platformer level set in a casino to being a casino-themed platformer level. As we're on these, well, I guess this is sort of like a roulette thing, and the giant roulette wheels. There's an even bigger one later in the level, too. You know, really getting a little abstract, I think. And that's some real basic platforming here. Grab the rope. Up we go. Yikes! Well, okay, if you're just gonna bull rush me instead of taking advantage of the gun you have, then I guess that even the fights in this level are free. Yeah, this level is not hard at all. And, like, to a kind of amazing extent that I'm having this little difficulty. Here they try to fool you by making you have to go against the rotation of the roulette wheels. But since it's so small, it's pretty easy. And yet I still just landed straight in the electric fence at one point. And for all of my talk about this level being... Oh, I was about to say, for all my talk about this level being easy, we're about to leave it with a, you know, down one bottle. But nope, not quite.
To enter the vault code. Man, I'm getting swift with the
Shame raccoon people can't swim. It sounds weird when you say it. Yeah, I'm surprised that Sly can't swim, like, at all. Are raccoons, like, actually bad at swimming? Or are they... For some reason, I was convinced a raccoon could fucking swim pretty good.
Okay, this page is from your hyperactive ancestor B.F. Cooper. He discovered a way to speed up the clock. Perfect for those long stakeouts. Just hold down the triangle button to use it.
Ah, yes, we get the fast ability. This is a pretty useful one. This just... Don't have a problem swimming? Alright, gotcha. So... You can see how this works, and...
Sly, this giant roulette wheel is spinning too fast to jump counterclockwise around it. You'll have to jump in the other direction to try to land on the green section.
The fast ability is really good, and it's probably one that we will use a lot. I would say that it's almost a little more useful than the slow ability is, at least at the moment. Eventually we'll get the ability to slow things down while we're not in the air, and that's pretty handy. But for now, it's very good for speeding up things that take a while. So, hey, I'm all for that. But I do still like my dive, so... Gonna get some gap closing going in and take these dudes out and get their coins. Give me your money! That's right. And throw these keys at the car. Hit the lever. Ooh, crunch! Nice. That felt pretty good. But... I think with that, we're going to cut things off here for today, and we will continue with the game on Wednesday.